If you had to offer like any piece of advice whatsoever to aspiring filmmakers, like anywhere, what would you say?
Okay, it's your advice. Everybody's going to follow this.
Just don't give a fuck. That's kind of the best thing to do.
Are we ready? Let's go! 3, 2, 1, action!
Ready, settle, and action.
You know, what's the best advice to someone who wants to be a director? And the answer I give is very simple. Be a director. Pick up a camera, shoot something, no matter how small, no matter how cheesy, no matter whether your friends and your sister star in it, put your name on it as director. Now you're a director. Everything after that, you're just negotiating your budget and your fee. So it's a state of mind, is really the point. Once you commit yourself to do it.
Make a movie every week in Super 8 or high def, write every night, and every weekend shoot for 2 days and work with actors, work with a little 1,000 watt lighting kit, set up your shots, get a tripod, shoot a little scene, work with the actors, cut those scenes together, and then the next weekend have worked on it with sound and looping and put some music to it. It can all be done for nothing nowadays with a computer. And get a response. And get a response from the audience and see where it's slow and where it doesn't work and where your ideas weren't being communicated properly. Learn from that experience sitting in with the crowd. And then go out and make another picture the next weekend. And just keep doing it. Make films, no matter what anybody says, and you'll be a filmmaker.
You don't have to know how to make a movie. If you truly love cinema with all your heart and with enough passion, you can't help but make a good movie. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to know a lens, a 40 and a 50 and fuck all that shit. Crossing the line, none of that shit's important. If you just truly love cinema with enough passion and you really love it, then you can't help but make a good movie.
Don't be polite. If you're polite, you'll be one of the many people standing in the line. You have to be a little pushy. You have to be prepared to say you're sorry, that you were wrong, or you possibly have made a mistake. But on the whole, you gotta go for it. You just have to want it so desperately that you can go without food. Then you're on your way.
For advice, I would say don't take media studies. Take something useful. Philosophy, history, English. Learn to have thoughts. Because there's no point in making movies if you're just imitating other people, if you have no thoughts of your own that you're trying to get out of your system. I also think you've got to be completely obsessed, and probably best to get a job as a plumber, because there's always a shortage of plumbers, just in case.
Make a movie. Start making movies, is my advice to anybody. Just make it. Make it great. Then make another one. Keep working. There's no other way to do it. Unless you write your way in the movie business, or unless you become an actor, and you want to be a director, direct.
Read, 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 read. If you don't read, you will never make a great film. And I do have a mandatory reading list, but has nothing to do with cinema. It has to do with poetry, beginning Antiquity in Rome, Virgil, Georgics, about life in the country, about agriculture, or Old Nordic poetry, or even the Warren Commission report on the assassination of Kennedy.
It was actually shooting something that that made it possible for me to get a film done.
Work wherever you can. It doesn't matter what. A documentary, a commercial, wherever you can get near a camera, wherever you can, especially if you're a director. You're not going to be a director until you put your eye into that finder. And it doesn't matter what. There's no such thing as good work or bad work. There's only work at the beginning.
Young people now have a huge advantage, which is anyone can make a movie cheap. I mean, you can take your flip camera and your laptop and Final Cut Pro, and you literally can make a perfectly acceptable film now for under $15,000. You really can, if you get people to work for free, and But that's a tremendous advantage that my generation, generations before me, we didn't have. That was either 8mm or 16mm. It was expensive. But that would be my advice: make movies. Just keep making pictures, and you learn by doing. and write scripts. You know, a lot of people put all their, especially film students, put all their heart and soul into that one screenplay. And that's fine, but write something else, because maybe that one screenplay, you won't be able to sell it. So write something else. I mean, have 10 scripts in the drawer instead of, you know, that one.
Make your own industry. Recreate movies. Don't pay attention to the industry. Do your own thing. It's all new. You just break it open. Break open the form. Don't just you know, have your tripod and a camera that's standing on it. The cameras that are being made now, and of course the fact that all Arriflex and other cameras have stopped being made, and whether we like it or not, we have to deal with a new technology, high definition, or digital, whatever it's called. It changes cinematography, the art of cinematography, but you younger ones, you make a new art. Take what's available, push it.
Don't say I'm going to be, because you can direct good or bad, but you can direct from your iPhone, from your cell phone, with your sister's cousin video camera, with a webcam, with right now, except in the most abject circumstances, most people can get a hold of an image audiovisual generating machine, and they can be directing and then realize that they are already directing. Directing doesn't mean anymore, and shouldn't mean anymore, directing feature films. So the advice is, if you want to direct, direct. If you want to write, write. You know, I think that writing is one of the only things that can be done with very little resources. And even if you die and you were unpublished, you still have a chance, because you live with rejection for decades, sometimes as a director, and you end up making the movie you want to make. Show us, don't tell us, you know, do the things. And if you do them wrong, but you do them in your own terms, that's how I define success, failing in your own terms.
I asked that very same question when I was 24 to Eli Kasian in Stockholm. We were having ice cream, and it's true. And I was, so Eli, what advice would you give a young filmmaker? And he said to me, my advice to you, and I'll come with an explanation afterwards. My advice to you, he said, is do it your way. Now, at 24, that meant one thing for me. You know, that was like, yeah, man, fuck that. I'm the king of the world. Move away. You know, I'm God. But my way also meant when I didn't have as much luck and I failed, that I remembered what my way could also mean. So in a way, it's a way to describe that your career is going to vary. It's going to have its ups and downs. It's going to have its heartache. It's going to have its joy. It's going to feel all the pleasure. And don't forget, the more pleasure it is, the harder it is going to be to fall. But without falling, you're never going to feel the pleasure. So I thought in the end, his idea of saying to me, do it your way, just meant that make the films you want to make, be prepared, but in the end, make them how you want to make them.